Hi, this is Catherine Ann with Chenoweth and Cohen coming to you from the VFW. I am here with Dan, the state commander, and I want to let what he does for veterans here in the Tulsa area.
Well, hey, good afternoon. I'm Dan Fuller. I am the current state commander of the Oklahoma Department of VFW. I've been a member of this post in Tulsa for 24 years. Had a variety of positions, been the post commander and quartermaster, which basically is the treasurer. So I've seen the post go through a lot of different stages, pre 9/11, post 9/11, and we're just very proud to be able to maintain this building. It's built in 1917.
Wow.
It's a former National Guard armory.
Wow.
And the VFW of Tulsa, which has been around for 105 years, took it over in 1947.
What does VFW mean?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. So we always say VFW, but it's the Veterans of Foreign Wars. It was formed in 1899, mostly because of Teddy Roosevelt and the Spanish-American War and the Philippines insurrection. When those veterans returned to the United States, there wasn't any real place for them to gather and talk about their experiences. So to be frank, the Civil War organizations basically kind of rebuffed them, and they weren't really a part of those organizations. So they invented or formed the congressionally chartered Veterans of Foreign Wars.
So I need to be a veteran of a foreign war to join?
Yes, yes. So you would have to receive hazardous, or not hazardous duty, I always misspeak. You have to have combat pay or receive a service medal. To use the most recent example, the Iraq Service Medal, the Afghan Service Medal, and it goes all the way back to whether service in Korea, World War II, and the Armed Forces Medal. I won't get too detailed on that, but that's the medal you would receive for like Grenada or Panama. That wouldn't
right.
have a specific medal for that conflict. But the VFW is welcoming to everybody, veterans of any type, whether they've had combat service or not, along with their families. And so we certainly don't discriminate at all. The canteen and the post is always open to anybody who would like to come down here.
Even if I'm not a veteran, I can come down?
Yes, yes. So we have a sign that says open to the public, but I generally think when people see the VFW, they feel like maybe there has to be some type of a member to sign them in. But for Tulsa, that's not true at all. It's kind of our baseline. We serve breakfast on Saturdays. That's open to the public. We serve lunch Wednesdays and Thursdays. That's open to the public. The hall and all the assets are open to the public for donation or for rental. And
So I can rent this entire building for an event?
yeah.
Okay, all right.
And we mean the ability. We have a huge, we call it the drill floor, but we have a lot of dances there. We can cater. We can provide alcohol service or regular beverage service to any event.
Nice.
We have a lot of weddings and wakes, as I call it, throughout the year where people come down and have the place.
So you, the veterans of foreign wars, obviously, you went through something different, and that's why your bond, the being able to bond together is what the VFW is for. What are some other events that you do here at the VFW?
Well, I call it Americanism, and which is easy and hard to define in the same breath. For instance, coming up is Flag Day on June 14th, and we burn. We have over 10,000 flags.
Nice.
And we have our own lot, which is catty corner from the parking lot here, that has a dedicated burning area, and we invite all the local scout troops, anybody who has a flag they would like to place on the fire, if it was something personal or that, they're welcome to do that. We encourage people to bring the flags prior to that day, but We have people that will bring their flags that need to be retired throughout the year.
Okay.
I mentioned Americanism. We have many programs for the youth. They're called Voice of Democracy, which is high school age level, where they write but then say their speech, and there's a theme every year. What do veterans mean to you? What's America mean to you as far as, you know, your future? Whatever theme that the national VFW would put out, they would write that and then give a speech, and then they compete at the post and the district and the state and the national level for, we call it scholarships or for stipends. We also have a program called Patriot Pen, which is basically middle school, junior high level, if you're as old as I am, junior high. And that's where they write out, again, the same thing with the directed theme and submit that.
Okay.
We do a lot of awards for first responders. Most of our programs include Policeman of the Year, Fireman of the Year, perhaps IMSA, 911 Dispatch of the Year, Teacher of the Year.
Nice.
And we'll recognize those people and then generally recognize them hopefully at our banquet or our state banquet. What I would say is, like, what we can do for veterans is that we feel like we have to provide the lighthouse, and we strive to be open as often as we can, for as long as we can, as many days as we can. So any veteran, regardless of service, can come here and have some fellowship, see their brothers and sisters, and keep the door open. We're fortunate here in Tulsa that we're open Monday through Friday for our office. Our lounge and other stuff is open Tuesday through Saturday. So I'd invite anybody to come down here, find out what we have going on. There are other posts that aren't as fortunate. Maybe they're all open one day a week. So we strive really hard to be as open as often as we can to help anybody out. And that includes family, spouses. If there's a deceased veteran, again, regardless of service, help them with attaining their 214s, just give them some general counseling on benefits that we may not provide, but we have a good network of what other people provide across the city. And I think one of the biggest things that we do here is provide claims work for soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, getting their disability claim filed.
Nice.
We have people from the Muskogee VA on an outreach program that come up here, as well as a VFW accredited officer that will go through the system of paperwork. So that's another important reason for us to be open during the week.
Right.
And again, that would be open to any veteran or any relative of a deceased veteran to see if there's anything to be claimed on either disability or benefits. And I'd like to say Oklahoma is a very patriotic state.
It is.
The people that are 50, 70, 90, 100%, there's several gates, and there's a lot of benefits that are provided by the state of Oklahoma that aren't necessarily provided by the federal government.
Right. I agree with that. Oklahoma is definitely very patriotic.
And then, you know, generally just we acknowledge every military event. You know, sometimes it's more of a remembrance. It's a little somber as a Memorial Day has just gone by. We had over 800 pair of boots in Veterans Park, each of them with a picture or a name of someone that was killed in action. And we started that with post 9/11, but now we've expanded it to the Vietnam War.
Nice.
And we run that 24/7 for 3 days with light kits so people can come by anytime. That's a big move for us. But even the ones that may not, pardon me, we always remember Pearl Harbor Day. We remember all the services' birthdays. Army birthdays coming up on June 14th. And so we always have some acknowledgement of that. We, you know, do the Army-Navy game, perhaps, you know, have a gathering for that. What's very unique about this post is that we have a huge hand in the Veterans Parade. And so we provide breakfast for anyone who wants it
Oh, nice.
on the morning of Veterans Day, or the morning of the observed Veterans Day. And we do the parade during the observation of the holiday, so we can have as many schools participate. So
Nice.
we won't have the parade on a Saturday, Sunday, because we want to have it on a Friday or Monday to get the school leadership, the bands, the junior ROTCs.
Right.
It's a very huge parade.
Right.
It takes about 2.5 hours for it to go from start to finish.
That's amazing.
Right.
So what's the one thing you would like everybody to know about the VFW?
And the one thing I would just emphasize is that we're open to the public. There are any questions you have about any service member or their service or your connection to them, just come down and let us know.
Okay.
If we don't know, we'll find out.
Okay.
And if we can help anybody in any degree of allow them to understand what maybe a veteran would go through, we would love to have you come down here and talk with us.
That's awesome. And then also, what could the public do to help the VFW?
Well, I say this, and is that this is not an ask, it's generally a tell. I feel like there's a perception that the VFW, since it's a government or a congressional chartered organization, receives money. We receive $0 from the federal government. We receive $0 from the state. We receive $0 from the city. Now, do we apply for grants? Sure. Do people donate? Yes. We could not operate unless people donated. But we like to run our canteen. We like to have people come down and use the hall. We have two-step dances. We have blues nights. We have a lot of things going on where people can come down and enjoy their evening and basically, contribute to the welfare of the post by attending those events.
Nice. And then also, do you have somewhere on your website people can donate?
Yes. You can just go to Tulsa VFW Post 577, and there'll be a way for you to donate there.
That's awesome.
No, I appreciate being able to tell everybody what we do, and it's the most historic building in town, as far as my opinion is. A lot of history here, and I'd love to see people come down and check it out.
All right, Dan, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.
All right, thank you.